Welcome, all. It's time for another exciting edition of The Show with No Name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. And I hope you guys are ready because we are going to rock. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening to
Vaughn Radio.
Folks, get ready for liftoff. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Zero. Ha, I beat you.
Ignition.
Gotcha.
Liftoff.
Gotcha that time.
Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
I think we got this, folks. Let's do it.
Get ready. Hold on.
There it is.
Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready
For the ride of your life.
The show with no. It's show with no name time on Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name.
It's the show with no name.
Let's go.
That's right. That's right, folks. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Time for another exciting show. So much to do today. I was just taking a look at the script. Wait a second. Do we say taking a look or having a look? Well, it depends if you're British or not. The British would say, I'm having a look at the script. Americans would say, I'm taking a look at the script. Same thing with shower. The Brits, I'm going to have a shower. And the Americans would say, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to have a bath. I'm going to take a bath. We don't agree, guys. We don't see eye to eye. That was the expression we looked at yesterday. We looked at a lot of idiomatic expressions as we do every day here. We look at expressions, false friends, structure, pronunciation. That's where you guys have to do your part. I'm expecting you guys to pronounce, especially homophones, all that tricky stuff. When we come across a new word that sounds weird to you, those are the ones you want to repeat aloud. All right, amigos, welcome to Vaughn Radio. This is the show with no name. I trust that you guys are nice and warm. We use this structure a lot, nice and bastante. I trust you guys are nice and warm. And, that's because you were in good hands with my buddy Fitz. I know he was doing his magic, and I know you guys are going to do your magic today. So I'm going to start off with some encouragement. Un poco de aliento, some encouragement to get you guys excited. I just got to say, as your teacher, I am so proud of you. I couldn't be prouder. So keep up the great work. And you guys know me. I don't just give compliments. I'm pretty sincere when I give a compliment, or else I'll just keep my mouth shut. Like my mom always said, Alberto, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But I do have a lot of nice stuff to say, especially today on the show with all my nice amigos. And, the first thing is Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. Coming up, April 12th. It's Vaughn Radio Trivia Night, April 12th. Mark your calendar. It's at 8:30 p.m., and it's at Roll Madrid, which is located at Calle de Amaniel 23 Amaniel Street. This time it's going to be hosted by my good friend, author, comedian, funny guy in general, Juan Solo. You can join us for a free night of trivia, laughter, and so much more. And if what you like is a challenge, then you're going to love today's pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. You want to do the remix? Let's do it. Pop quiz. Yeah. Pop, 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 pop. Woo! Let's go. Hands up. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Uh-huh. That's right, folks. That's right. Welcome to our pop quiz. I see that everybody's on board and excited. And I just wanted to remind you guys really quickly before we get started that you should download the free Vaughn Radio app. If you don't have it, you should make some space on your phone for it because you'll have access to amazing shows all day for free. Another thing you should do too is follow us. Follow us all on social media. Follow Grupo Vaughn. Follow me. And of course, follow my amazing friends and coworkers on Vaughn Radio. And you'll be learning so much just by doing that. Oh, and also follow my podcast, my self-produced podcast, my weekly podcast called FYI, For Your English. And just remember, you get a new episode every Friday, a new topic every Friday. Now, from time to time, and this week I think I released two. Yeah, this week I released 2 bonus episodes that were only available to my subscriber students right now. So if you guys are really patient, you'll get those bonus episodes. The only thing is you'll have to wait a while. And today, well, 2 days ago, I released the bonus episode on the Oscars, Los Oscar. If you haven't listened to the first episode, listen to it first. Even if you have listened to the first episode, listen to it again and then listen to the second one because I do them in order. Sometimes I'll ask you a question in the first part for my students to answer in the bonus part. So this week you've got, I know just if you're following the podcast, then you know because they'll automatically pop up in your feed there. But I released the Oscars, which was, well, to celebrate the Oscars. And today I released, well, I'll just give you the intro. I released one on perhaps one of the most famous people ever. Most mortals marvel at this master's magnificent, meticulous mind. This enigmatic, eccentric genius was extremely groundbreaking. His impressive, inspiring ideas instilled a sense of imagination in us for generations to come. We will look into the life of the wide-eyed wanderer known as Albert Einstein on this week's episode of FYI. Welcome to For Your Info. English. You got it. There you go, folks. Wherever you get your Vaughn podcasts, whether it's Spotify, iVox, Apple Podcasts, whatever. The important thing is that you download, well, even more important, because if you follow, then it'll download. You can put, I have it where my favorite podcasts, the ones I'm following, they download automatically. So today you can listen to the bonus episode on Albert Einstein. I think you guys will really enjoy it. Again, listen to the first part first, and then you have an hour. Just think of it this way. If you listen to both episodes, you'll have anywhere from about 50 minutes to 1 hour of English on that topic. And then last week, we chatted with Richard Vaughn. I've been getting some really amazing feedback on that one. And coming up, I'm really excited about this. This coming Friday is St. Patrick's Day, and I've got Fitz on the pod. So make sure you're following along. And speaking of following along, my buddy Dave Boys is always posting these very native collocations, these structures that we use where there's a preposition or two, and you either know the structure or you don't. And well, he calls them conundrums. They're phrasal verbs. They're structures. I don't even like to use the word grammar. I like to call it structure. Okay, we're looking at different structures. Grammar sounds like grammar. Gramática, estructuras. Oh, cool. Fórmulas. What about that? Doesn't that sound better? The formula, if you take I, must have, must been, must el gerundio, you got your structure there. So you got your formula. Doesn't that sound better than saying we're learning grammar? Okay, here we go. And this is a great one. This is some good advice too. If you guys, if you're currently smokers, fumadores. Dejé de fumar para ponerme en forma. Dejé de fumar para ponerme en forma. This is a translation from my buddy Dave. He is the host of The Salad. He has been on Vaughn Radio longer than I have, longer than most of us. And Dave is extremely talented, extremely gifted, not just as a teacher, as a radio host, but also as a musician. He's got a book, Canciones para Aprender Inglés con Animales. You'll be able to picture it. No, imaginarte de ello. Some of you might even have it, but you'll be able to pick it up at Feria del Libro Madrid. That's right. Feria del Libro Madrid. Mark your calendars. May 26th, el 26 de mayo to June 11th. We'll be back, baby, at the book fair in Retiro Park. Really looking forward to it. As always, it's one of our favorite times of year. I hope you guys will join us. Feria del Libro Madrid, May 26th to June 11th. We'll be there. All of your favorite teachers, authors, and Vaughn Radio presenters. Stay tuned for more info. All right, well, folks, we've got so much to do. So let's check in our virtual classroom. We've got a lot of people on board who are excited about learning English. Let's get a little beat going. Oh, yeah, there it is. Everything's a little bit better with a beat. I think you'll agree. There's Born to Iron Man. What's up, buddy? He says, morning, friends. What's up, Born to Iron Man? Great to have you on board. Anix, what's up, Anix? She says, hi, everyone. Alberto is full of beans. That's great. Have a lovely morning. Well, I've been up for like 4 or 5 hours. You know, I get up at 6:30, 7 latest. And I don't set an alarm. I just get up. I usually try and get up before my daughter so I can make coffee, get things moving around the house. But yeah, I'm definitely full of beans. I feel great. How you feeling? How you feeling? Hot, hot, hot. How you feeling? Hot, hot, hot. There's Laura. She says, good morning. Mesmerizing show with no namers. Let's hit the ground running. To hit the ground running. Empezar a tope. No, a mil. Let's hit the ground running and have a wonderful and magical time. Laura, I was ready for you there. There's Chris Valrol, one of our super show with no namers. She says, morning, Alberto and mates. Morning, Chris. Always a pleasure to have you with us. Kubla, he says, howdy. What's up? Howdy. I guess you've been listening to the Richard Vaughn episode. Howdy. Unrepeatable chaps. Hello, good sir. Speaking of good sirs, there's my father, Don Diego of El Marchal de Lubrin. And he says, good morning, Alberto, family and friends. Greetings from, and I'm going to add an adjective, snowy Greenwood Lake. What's up, Dad? Always a pleasure to have you on board with us, as you know. I think I speak on behalf of all of the students. Oh, and we're going to hear from one of my dad's friends today. Dad, remember your friend, that guy who worked in the construction business and the unions? You remember him? Don Perignon? You know, he worked in the Italian neighbor. You know the guy I'm talking about. I don't want to say what his real job is, but he works in construction. He's a union delegate, as they say, en los sindicatos. So, yeah, we're going to hear from a guy that you don't really want to hear from, you know, unless it's to say hello or goodbye, because you don't want to cross this guy's path. Dad, you know who I'm talking about. Dom Perignon. Yeah, well, a powerful guy. You don't want to double cross him. Oh, man. So we'll hear from him a little bit later on. Let's hear from you guys. I see we've got some people participating in the pop quiz. There's Kubla. He says, I gave up smoking to get in shape. Awesome. So right there, we can get the structure. I gave up eating junk food. No, porque ya sabemos que es to give up más gerundio. We've got our formula. I gave up, you know, trying to change people. No, me di por vencido en intentar cambiar la gente. So what you need is to get the structure and then come up with your examples. What have you given up on? Y luego si lo ponemos, I've given up on her. I've given up on that situation. ¿Ves? Ya hay otras estructuras donde podemos usar el give up. Do you give up? So that's when you're doing trivia too. Okay, do you give up? I'll give you the answer. So it's a great one to know. But to give up smoking and to get in shape. And of course, if you're in shape, great. If you're out of, que nosotros pronunciamos ahora, O-U-T-T-A, if you're out of shape, well, you want to get in shape. You know why? I don't want to say it. I don't want to be that guy. But the spring, the summer, coming soon, you know, that spare tire. You say Michelin, we say spare tire. Una rueda de repuesto. Let's see. We've got some other students participating. Here's lovely Laura. And Laura says, I gave up smoking to get in shape. Great. To give up smoking to get in shape. I was really brave and I quit cold turkey. Oh, that's a totally native. I quit cold turkey to cook. ¿Qué? ¿Pavo frío? Yeah, you can buy it at the supermarket, right? Lonchas de pavo. No, en este caso es dejar algo así, a secas, sin más. So, how did you quit smoking? Did you do it gradually? Poco a poco, gradualmente? Did you do it little by little? No, man, I quit cold turkey. Lo dejé sin más. Not easy to do. Great expression, Laura. Let's see. And Leo. Let's see what Leo says. I quit smoking. That's fine. I gave up or I quit. Lo bueno de quit. Lo acabo de conjugar, no repetir 3 veces. Bueno, lo he repetido 3 veces porque se conjuga igual. I quit smoking to be as fit as a fiddle. Lots of totally natives flying around here. So to be as fit as a fiddle es estar en buenísima forma. And I wanted to clear something up here. Give up versus give in, because I've heard students mix them up. Well, first, let's look them up. I just gave you some uses of give up. So if you just say it a secas, I give up. Ya no puedo más. Me doy por vencido. I'm not, when I think of this, I give up, I surrender. White flag. Okay? Now, to give in is a little bit different. To give in is something you have to do sometimes. Ceder. Because life is a give and take. Un toma y daca. Right? A give and take. So to give in is to say, okay, I'll I won't be as strict. To give up is say, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. And remember the structure. To give up on somebody or something, right? To give up. She gave up on me. To give up on somebody. And remember, it's an irregular verb. So it's give, gave, given. Okay? You need to know that word because it's not just dar, but give up, give in, to give out. What if I told you? Vamos a mirar algunos con give. What if I told you? Y mira, contexto es todo para que veáis. You guys are going to tell me what this one is. If you put your legs on the coffee table, it's going to give out. It's old. To give out. So we said give up, darse por vencido. To give in, to say, okay, you can do that, right? And to give out is to fallar, no aguantar. So it's going to give out. Also, to give out es distribuir. In the city hall or town hall, que sería el ayuntamiento, they were giving out coffee and donuts last weekend. I wish. Ojalá. And speaking of, in Irish, estoy viendo Irish informal. My mom gives out to me if I don't do my homework. Esto no lo usamos en Estados Unidos. But to give out to is echar la peta, echar una bronca. We would say to chew somebody out, to tell somebody off. I'm trying to think of other ones. To tell off, to chew out, echar una bronca. To yell at, no? Gritarle, to yell at somebody. Don't yell at me. No me eches una bronca. All right, let's see some more comments. There's Vero. She says, GM, general manager. Oh, no. Context is everything I just said, right, Vero? Good morning to you, too. Bueno, GM is general manager. Good morning, beautiful people. Tuesday in the house. Presente, el martes presente. Let's grab this day by the horns and squeeze it to the max. Hey, I'm going to use it in context now, this give up. Vero, did you give up chocolate? Well, I'm just saying because you always used to mention chocolate. Did you give it up? For Lent? Cuaresma? Hey, that's a funny one. Did you give it up? Bueno, ahí tienes otra estructura. To give it up for Lent. All right. Let's see. Leo says, well done, Laura. My first attempt to quit smoking was close, but no cigar. Oh, man. And you get a... Wow. What a play on words. Holy cow. Man, Leo, that's brilliant. Seriously brilliant. Unbelievable. He says, so let's see. I'll explain it to you guys. He says, well done, Laura. My first attempt to quit smoking was close, but no cigar. Well, a cigar is un puro. I think we can all agree. Cigarette smoke sucks. Sorry, smokers. I'm just being honest. Secondhand smoke sucks because you're making me smoke. Yesterday, I was having a coffee, and this guy was literally blowing smoke in my face. And I'm like, that's just, I mean, the man was like 70 years old. I'm like, if he doesn't have any manners and is that disgusting now, he's never going to change, you know? But cigar smoke, as much as I hate cigarette smoke, cigar smoke sucks. Well, the expression that our buddy Leo used, close, but no cigar. What very, very witty again. Just impressive. Close, but no cigar. Lo voy a traducir con un sonido. Uy. Así es. Uy. Or you say por los pelos. Por los pelos. And in English, that is by the skin of my teeth. O sea, las encías, your gums. But we don't say by my gums. We say by the skin of my teeth. Wow, we've been learning a lot of stuff so far in the first part, but we've got to go to a quick commercial break, my amigos. We'll be right back with tons more Show with No Name. We've got so much to do today, so stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the Show with No Name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, after today's show, you've got the lovely Ximena Holiday and her program, Test Your English, followed by the Lunchtime Show with Rob and Andy. Then you've got Tosh Pasqua with Back to Basics. You've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares, Western Civilizations with Guy Williams. The Salad with Dave Boys. And don't forget about the highly addictive, highly interactive Drive Time with my buddy Kyle Miller. If you guys want more information, follow us on social media. You can also go to our website, grupovon.com. You can stop by our bookshop, which is vontienda.com. So many amazing resources to help you guys learn English and have fun. We're with everybody, with Disney, with Oxford, and even with Amazon's Alexa. Ahora puedes aprender inglés con Vaughan y Alexa de Amazon. Solo tienes que decir:
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
Bienvenido a Aprende Idiomas con Alexa. Hoy vas a poder aprender lecciones de inglés nivel iniciación con Alexa en colaboración con Vaughan. Podrás aprender desde nuevo vocabulario a pronunciación y mucho más. Cada lección contiene secciones de práctica y de preguntas. Empecemos. Veamos ahora 5 actividades con el verbo ir.
To go.
Ir al gimnasio es.
To go to the gym.
La G de
Gym.
suena casi como una H.
To go to the gym.
Dilo tú.
To go to the gym.
Correcto.
Eso es. Practica inglés con Vaughan y con Alexa de Amazon. Acuérdate, solo tienes que decir:
Alexa, quiero aprender inglés.
esto sí que es un...
Buen comienzo. Te toca.
All right. It's your turn. Te toca, as she says. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's another free resource, my amigos. And you know what? We've got so much to do, so let's get right back into things with today's very, very tough. Say what? Say what? What? Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah. Yeah, and it's the Say What soundbite. And it's the Say What soundbite. Every day and every night. Yeah. Uh-huh. Now it's the Say What soundbite. Yeah. All right, folks. I warned you. I tried to warn you. Man, this one is going to be challenging. Oh. Don't hate me. Please don't hate me. But don't worry, we will demystify this by the end of the show. As always, you're going to hear a famous person speaking 4 times, and you guys have to initially give me your observations, and then I want it word for word. Now, again, I'm going to warn you, this one is really, really difficult for several reasons. One of them I won't tell you yet. The other one is it's an old recording. So no matter how much I bring the volume up, if it's not recorded well, or if, the audio, I did what I could to enhance, alzar, I think you say, alzar, maybe, to enhance the audio quality. So I don't want to hear, not just before anybody gives me any freaking excuses, I'm telling you right now, I don't want to hear it. I couldn't do anything else. So either you participate or not, but don't say it's really difficult, because I know that. I just told you that. We can skip that step. Nos saltamos ese paso. All right, here we go, folks. This is the Say What soundbite for the first time. Pay very close attention.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance.
All right. I warned you. I warned you, amigos. All right. So there's your first listen of the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you again in just a moment, just giving you a second to digest that. And then we're going to listen to, I've got a message here on our voice message on our answering machine. And if you guys would like to participate, you can send me, like Victor did yesterday, a 1-minute voice message. You can send it to my email, which is grupovon.com. All right, is everybody ready? This is the Say What soundbite for the second time.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance.
All right, there you go, my amigos. Let's see what you guys heard. Let's hear your observations. Even if it's hard, you should participate. In fact, I get a lot more impressed when I see people participating when it's hard than when I'm saying, this is an easy one. So remember that too. Usually the harder it is, the bigger the reward. And again, here, the only reward you get is, well, doing a great job. You can, after this 2-hour period, say, I kicked ass in my English class, right? That's all. If you can walk away saying that, that is amazing. All right, well, let's see who we're going to hear from today. I'm pretty sure it's my friend Don Perignon. He's I don't want to say what his real job is, but let's just put it this way. He's the boss. El capo di capo.
Hi, thanks for calling the show with no name. I can't get to the phone right now, so please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, how you doing there, Alberto? This is Dom Perignon, your godfather. I gotta talk to you about something. There was a guy I wanted you to take care of. Only one problem. I didn't want you to nurse the guy back to health. I meant whack him. Get rid of the guy, not literally take care of the guy. Why do you always have to be so literal? I guess it's because you're an English teacher. Anyway, this Sunday, we're having lunch at my mama's house. I want to invite you and the family to be with my family, and we can break bread. Also, I want to talk about that favor that you owe me. Don't think I forgot. Dom Perignon never forgets. And if I do, I got a bunch of goons on hand ready to remind me. I'm getting old, kid, and the neighborhood ain't what it used to be. Anyhow, I'll see you this Sunday at my mother's house. Or else, take care of yourself, paisan.
Oh, wow. Well, it sounds like I got plans this Sunday. Clear my calendar. I've got lunch at Don Perignon's house. He is just an awesome dude. I love Don Perignon. But I would never, double cross him. I would never screw him over, as we say. Let's take a look at some of the vocabulary that my godfather, Dom Perignon, had to say. He's my godfather, so that makes me his godson, right? And, if he has a goddaughter, right? So goddaughter, godson, ahijado, ahijada, godfather, godmother, right? And so those are things. You don't have to be in the mafia to have a godfather, by the way, but they've made it popular. Then he reprimanded me. He chewed me out for saying something about taking care of. He goes, I told you to take. I can imitate him pretty well. I've known him for a long time. And he said, I told you to take care of something for me. To take care of someone. It wasn't something. And to take care of somebody is cuidarles, cuidar de ellos. You got to take care of your sick family. But also to take care of is kill in mafia speak. So I guess I misunderstood him because I was nursing the guy back to health. Yo le estaba cuidando hasta que estuviera fuerte otra vez, to nurse back to health. And he said something about whacking somebody. Yeah, to whack is to kill. Yep, he shouldn't be saying that stuff on the phone, by the way, just in case they tap the phones. He also said, what else did he say? To break bread, compartir, romper pan, right? This is a biblical reference. He also said, I owe him a favor. Le debo un favor. I owe him a favor. Uh-oh. That's why I said I'm definitely going to his house, or else, porque si no, or else he would send some of his goons. Well, he said his goons would remind him. And what is a goon? Bueno, es como la palabra goonie, pero quitamos la I y la E. And a goon es un matón. So that's my buddy. Well, hey, thanks so much for the message. And Don Perignoni. And of course, I'll definitely be at your house for lunch. I mean, how could I? You made me an offer that I can't refuse. All right, let's go on over here and see what our amigos had to say about our really tough Say What soundbite. I'm sure somebody's going to be able to get it. Let's take a look. Get a little music in here. Vero says, what? Me quitting chocolate? Are you nuts? Was that a pun? Nuts? You like chocolate with nuts? Snickers, baby. Snickers satisfies. She says, me quitting chocolate? Are you nuts? Asking me to quit is like asking a sunflower not to follow the sun. I love that parable. Lovely. Let's see. Kubla says, it sounds like a non-native English speaker. That's correct. Discussing the worth of being a humanitarian and how important it is to carry out, llevar a cabo, good political measures. Great. Fantastic. Short, sweet, and spot on. Chris says, I heard a man. Good start. I'd say he's not a native English speaker. He's giving a speech. Correcto. I'm not going to bet the farm. No lo voy a apostar todo, but he mentions humanity, values, and political involves. Okay. A little bit lost at the end there, Chris, but you got the gist of it. There's Laura. She says, I heard the voice of a non-native English speaker with a slight French accent. He could be an African politician. Ooh, interesting, Laura. Your wheels are turning. An African politician at a rally talking about an act of humanity and cultural values. Values, no sé pronunciar. Leo says, it sounds like a French-speaking politician giving a speech a long time ago at the opening of an event which highlights human cultural values and is of great political importance. Well, what can I say, guys? Wonderful job. Great. The good news, you're going to hear that another 2 times here on the show with no name. But that was wonderful, guys. But now it's time to change gears. You know what we're going to do right now? We're going to do probably the hardest section on our show every day. That and the say what. Folks, get ready for today's Spelling Bee.
Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee. Spelling Bee.
That's right, amigos. It is our Spelling Bee only on the show with no name. And as always, this is where we're going to take a look at some concepts that are usually linked in some way. And hopefully you guys will do a great job here. All right. Well, as always, you'll get 6 different things today. They're names, they're people's names. So hopefully you guys will be able to figure out what they have in common. But the most important thing is figuring out who they are, getting it perfectly, and you'll get 2 chances. So the first time is reserved exclusively for super spellers, right? And the second one is for the general public, myself included. Are you guys ready? This is round 1. The first person is GEORGE space C period space MARSHALL. The second one is ROBERT space KENNEDY. The next one is JACQUELINE space KENNEDY space ONASSIS. The fourth one, ANITA space NEWCOMB. The fifth one is MEDGAR space EVERS. And the last one is GLENN space MILLER. Give me a second here to breathe, will you? Jeez Louise. Let me give you a little clue in the meantime. Oh, wow. This is somber. This is dark. Wow. Oh, man, what could it be? Anybody else feeling down right now? Anybody else in a dark place right now? Hey, you know I love playing with my sound effects and producing the show in real time, en tiempo real. It makes me have to be sharper. Tengo que estar mucho más agudo. But hey, I like that. It keeps me on my toes. Me mantiene espabilado. Yeah, to keep somebody on their toes es eso, en los dedos del pie, mantenerles despiertos, espabilados. And that's what we do every day here on the show with no name. Let's take a look. We've got some people participating. The first one to take a stab at it is Kubla. And let's take a look, folks. The first one is correct. The second one is correct. The third one is correct. The fourth one is correct. The fifth one is correct. And the sixth one is correct. Nice job. And right on his heels. Born to Iron Man. Oof, right there. Close. Well, you got it. Either way, great job, both guys. Es que en serio. Ambos lo hacéis más rápido que yo. And they look right. Kubla, I just checked, and Born to Iron Man, yours look right too. So, whoa. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you guys round two. This is for the rest of us. You know, it's not that I haven't mastered English after 45 years. You'd think I probably mastered English, right? The problem is I'm just not that fast. I'm slow on the uptake, as we say. No, lo pillo. No, I'm slow on the uptake. All right, here we go. I'm going to give you these people again. This is for everybody, all right? This is like if I was working in customer service, I'm like, sir, can you please write down this number? And then this is your confirmation number, por ejemplo. Or write down this email address and send the PDF document here, ¿no? Como así. Alguien que te dice, quiero que te enteres y que hagas el proceso correctamente. The first name is GEORGE space C period space MARSHALL. The second one is ROBERT space KENNEDY. The third one, JACQUELINE space KENNEDY space ONASSIS. The fourth one is ANITA space NEWCOMB. The fifth one is MEDGAR space EVERS. And the last one is GLENN space MILLER. Those are your 6 spelling bee words. All right. Chris Valrol, you got it as well. Nice job, Chris. And Chris also says they are famous graves at Arlington National Cemetery. Absolutely. This is a cemetery that is located outside of Washington, D.C. I've been there. You can go visit this cemetery. It's impressive, the size of it. In fact, let me give it to you. In acres, it's 639 acres. In hectares, it's 259. And how many people are buried in this cemetery? This probably the most famous cemetery in the United States. Around 400,000 people. Okay. And you'll find the people that are buried here are military heroes, people who served in different wars, including the tomb of the unknown soldier, which you can watch the changing of the guard. Pretty impressive. I remember going with my dad. Dad, I'm sure you remember. And you can see the eternal flame right in front of John F. Kennedy's grave. So it's reserved. It's a permanent burial place for the vets of the different wars. Vets, siendo veteranos, veterans, but we say vets of the different wars. and they're family members. Okay, that depends on, I guess. But interesting. I didn't know that. 400,000, around 400,000 people buried in this amazing cemetery, you know? It's like, it reminds me when a cemetery becomes a tourist destination. You know which other one comes to mind? I mean, it's a lot smaller and it's a totally different idea. But the other one that comes to mind is Père Lachaise. Père Lachaise, which is the one in Paris where Oscar Wilde, Voltaire, Jim Morrison, and so many others are buried. So I know it sounds morbid, it sounds dark, but cemeteries are sometimes tourist destinations. Oh, and how can I forget? In Nolens. What? In Nolens. Nolens? New Orleans. But they say it down there, they say Nolens. We live in Nolens. New Orleans, Nolens. So in Nolens, too, there are tours of the cemetery down there. A, because there are famous people buried there. And B, because in the United States, we usually bury people below ground, not in Louisiana. And you know why? Thanks to our amigos from Spain and the Spanish conquests there. They still have Roscón de Reyes. By the way, before I get into all this stuff, there's an FYI episode on Nolens. We're off to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name on Vaughn Radio. All aboard for the second half of today's program. I hope you guys are ready to rock and roll. So much to do here in the second half of today's show. Come on in, come on in. And don't forget, if you love Vaughn Radio, spread the word. It's a great way to let your friends know that there's a fun, exciting way to learn English. And you can learn English every day with a plethora of different accents. You've got Tosh Pasqua with her Australian mate. You've got Fitz with his Irish accent. Kyle Miller from Canada. Dave Boy's got quite a British accent thing going on. You know, you got a little bit of everything here. Of course, me, you got the Northeast accident. Es un accidente, no es un acento. This is no accident, I can assure you. Oh, man. Well, I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're repeating the vocabulary aloud. And I hope you're taking notes, because I know we've looked at a lot of different vocabulary so far. Also, I'd like to send a shout out to all the listeners who don't tune in live for one reason or another. There are people, many people who tune in and they listen via podcast, but they can't tune in live. But you know what? You are just as important to the show with no name and to Vaughn Radio as the people who are able to be here every day, right? You might not get all that recognition, but from time to time, I like to remind you guys that I know you're there and I appreciate it. And hey, if you want to send us a message or write to us, you know, I usually pass on that message. All right, so much to do over here, my amigos. What we've got is today's Say What soundbite. We've got to listen to it for the third time, so everybody pay close attention.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance.
All right, there you go, my amigos. That's the third listen. You'll hear that one more time, and believe me, I know, I am well aware, muy consciente, super consciente. Se dice, esto es frase hecha. I am well aware of the fact that is really, really difficult. All right, well, let's finish up our spelling bee over here, where we were looking at famous people who were buried in Arlington National Cemetery. The first one I gave you was George C. Marshall. I'm sure many Europeans are familiar with George C. Marshall. He rose through the ranks of the U.S. Army, and he became the chief of staff under FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and Harry S. Truman. Then he became Secretary of State, Secretary of Defense, and Winston Churchill said this guy was the organizer of victory, quote unquote. And well, the Marshall Plan, I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. It was a European recovery program, which he championed. And he was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1953. He died in 1951, and he was buried, as you guys already know, in Arlington National Cemetery. Oh, and the reason I chose this topic is today, in 1967, the body of JFK was moved there permanently. So that's why we decided to look at this. The next one, Robert Kennedy. Many of you know Robert Kennedy as JFK's brother, and that's exactly who he was. He was an attorney general, fiscal. He was also a U.S. senator from New York, senador, and he was assassinated in June of 1968. Also buried right next to his brother, JFK. And don't forget about the one and only Jackie. No, durante muchas décadas no había que decir Kennedy, ni Onassis, ni nada. Era Jackie, solo había una. Y puede ser hoy en día that there's just one. Jackie Kennedy, the iconic Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis. Oh, and speaking of the Kennedys, there's an FYI episode on the Kennedys, on John F. Kennedy, but obviously we talk about his wife as well and the family and Camelot. So much to learn. The next one, Anita Newcomb. And again, I didn't know this one, but I decided to look her up because I like to learn too. And she, Anita Newcomb McGee is her name, was an American MD, medical doctor, who was remembered for her work with the U.S. military. So what did she do? She was able to save the lives of many, many people. And she was buried next to her father, who was a military leader as well. She was buried next to him at Arlington National Cemetery with full military honors. So, and she was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution, the United Spanish War Veterans. She was the founder of the Society of the Spanish-American War Nurses. So, very, very influential person. And her name is Anita Newcomb, and she's also buried there. The next one, Medgar Evers, is a very, very famous name in American lore and in American pop culture and in the fight for civil rights in the 50s. And he was a decorated U.S. Army veteran. He served in World War II, but he was instrumental in the efforts to overturn, dar la vuelta a, segregation at the University of Mississippi. Okay, and so he was one of these people, just like Martin Luther King Jr., who was instrumental in the revolution that was going on. You could say women's rights, you could say the rights of African Americans, but I think it was really about civil rights, period. That doesn't matter what color or what you have between your legs. You should have the same rights as everybody else. And I think those concepts, are still to this day very important to bear in mind. All right. So, and the last one, Glenn Miller. Now, what rank did he hold in the military? Glenn Miller. Well, he was an officer before he was a recording artist. I know many of you might know his music. If you don't, Glenn Miller. And I'm going to dedicate this to my grandma. My grandma loved Glenn Miller and his orchestra. One of the most popular and successful bands of the 20th century in the big band era. You know all of his songs. Pennsylvania 65000, A String of Pearls, In the Mood. Really, this guy, Glenn Miller. But he was an officer in the U.S. Army Forces. So there's a trick question. Why is Glenn Miller, the famous composer, buried at he's not a military. Well, yes, he was. Yes, he was. And also Elvis was in the military as well. You can learn more about that in the Elvis episode of FYI, because right now we need to move on to Name That Movie. Name That Movie. That's right, amigos. You know it. Are you kidding me, Dad? You just blew my mind. Totally blew my mind over here. And I quote, I met RFK. So as you guys know, JFK, John F. Kennedy. RFK, his brother, Robert. So, or Bobby and Jack Kennedy, they called John or Jack and Bobby. That's how they lovingly called him. And my dad says, I met RFK. Wow. Just to be able to say that, Dad. I mean, talking about one of the most influential people in history. And he says, I met him at Central Park skating rink in La Pista de Hielo ahí, and his eyes were magnetic. I never forgot that look and his vulnerability. Well, in the end, they took his life. So he was powerful yet vulnerable. He was the younger brother, but many people said that Kennedy would have never become president if it hadn't been for his brother supporting him and helping him on the campaign trail. I mean, obviously, the father. Okay, if you want to talk about Kennedys, let's talk about Daddy Joe Kennedy. But wow, Dad, that's like a piece of history that's probably ingrained in your mind for the rest of your life. No matter, you could probably hit your head and have amnesia and you'll still remember the look in RFK's eyes. All right, well, let's take a look at today's movie. As always, I'm going to give you the trailer of the movie, and then what we'll do is we'll take a look at a scene from the movie and we'll extract some English from it as well. Here we go. Two con men try to settle their rivalry by betting on who can swindle a young American heiress out of $50,000. Okay? So, So two con men. What is a con man? Alguien que te quiere timar. Somebody who's trying to con you or to scam. So a scam artist or a con man is somebody you don't want to trust. Okay? So two con men try to settle their rivalry. And to settle es ajustar las cuentas, ¿no? O zanjarlo, terminarlo. They try to settle it de una vez por todas. Their rivalry is rivalidad, I think you say, by betting on, apostando por, who can swindle. And the word swindle, I always thought this was a funny word. I don't know why. Swindle. Hey, swindle. To swindle is to rob, robar, right? Timar, estafar, defraudar, engañar. On who can swindle a young American heiress. And an heiress is somebody who is going to inherit a fortune. Well, it doesn't have to be a fortune, but heiress. And an heir is the male. So heir, que se H-E-I-R, se pronuncia igual que aire. Y esto es añadirle E-S-S, heiress. So heir, it's a female inheritor, one who inherits something, okay? And so they want to, obviously she has money in this case, a young American heiress out of $50,000 first. Now you're thinking, $50,000? $50,000, that's nothing. I mean, not that I have that. I don't have 50. Digo, it's nothing. Like if you think about a car, you know, a normal car is 50,000. You know, you can't even buy a parking spot for 50,000 in Madrid, at least. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's a lot of money. But you're thinking $50,000. What are you going to do with that? It was 1988. The movie came out in 1988, and we've got some winners. Give it up for Kubla and Chris Valrol. Nice job. The movie is called Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and dirty es sucio, no juegan sucio, creo que quieren decir que no juegan limpio. Rotten, podridos, no? And scoundrel, I remember where I learned that word in Spanish. It's great when you can remember where you learn words, because if you can remember it, then you'll always remember them in their context. And I'll never forget, they said, Mourinho es un canalla, es una canalla. I don't remember if it was uno, una. Bueno, no, porque es un tío. Un canalla. And it said on Marca, on the cover, I think it was on the cover, si no me equivoco, la portada de Marca, the soccer newspaper, it said, canalla total, o el Mo es canalla. A dishonorable person. And then I looked it up. Lo mismo que os digo a vosotros. You come across a word, topas con una palabra, look it up. See what you come up with. And I was like, canalla. I was thinking canica, like, I just hadn't heard the word. And then at that moment, I looked it up the same way I tell you guys to do, be proactive. And I said, canalla, scoundrel. Ajá. Digo, qué gracioso. Le están llamando a scoundrel, un sinvergüenza. In Argentina, un chanta, it says here. All right. So let's take a look at this scene. Now, this is I got to say, if you have not seen this, this is a fucking classic. It's directed by Frank Oz. Frank Oz did the voice of Kermit the Frog, and he also did the voice of Miss Piggy. So many of the voices in the Muppets. Frank Oz, very, very, very talented person, and he's the director of this movie. It stars, speaking of talent, Steve Martin and Michael Caine. Okay, we're talking about two of the most talented people in the world. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, and Frank Oz, I think he also did, he might have, I think he did Yoda as well. So we're talking about a genius directing geniuses here. Okay. I mean, royalty in comedy, in talent. Frank Oz. Si no lo conocéis, look him up. He's probably, if you watched the Muppets or anything from the 80s or 90s, you've heard his voice a million times. Plus, sometimes he's himself in a movie too. So he's one of those people, como él mismo, Frank Oz. And he directed this with Michael Caine and Steve Martin. I mean, can it get any better than that? Two heavyweights. And when Frank Oz, the director, first approaches acercarse a Sir Michael Caine. And he approached him about a key role in this movie, un papel clave. And he tempted him. How did he tempt him? Well, he knew that Sir Michael Caine, was a fan of the high life, la buena vida, And he said, listen, we're going to film this movie in the south of France, in a beautiful villa. En una villa, you say, no? Un casoplón de estos. So we're gonna film this in the south of France. We're gonna be on location in a cozy villa, and we'll be there for 3 months. It'll be awesome. You're gonna love it, man. You don't have to work too much. He's think about this. He's like, you can take a dip in the water, have some champagne, and then Michael Caine, he was like, okay, tell me more. So he gave him some information. He told him where it was going to be, and then he realized, Michael Caine said, wait a second, this villa that we're going to be filming at is conveniently located, ubicado, between the villas of two of his old friends, Sir Roger Moore, he was one of the James Bond, and Leslie Bricusse, who is a composer. And he said, what? So I can hang out on the, in a villa on the French coast, and I can hang out with my friends who live next door. I'm in. So maybe that's why the movie was so great too, because he felt comfortable. He's like, this is great. This is a vacation here. And Sir Michael Caine was nominated for a Golden Globe Award for Best Actor in a motion picture, musical, or comedy. But he lost out to, let's see if anybody knows, 1988. He lost out to Tom Hanks in the movie Big. And Steve Martin was not nominated. Now, he's been nominated before, but some people say, as far as comedy is concerned, and that was for in a musical or a comedy, many people say the funnier one of the two is Steve Martin. So a lot of people say, okay, Michael Caine's a great actor, but that movie was, Steve Martin, they were great. Both of them were. But Steve Martin should have gotten more credit there because he pulled the story. He got most of the big laughs. Again, that's according to many people. And the movie is a remake of a movie, I didn't know that, called Bedtime Story. Cuento de ir a la cama, ¿no? De noche. It came out in 1964. The original roles were played by David Niven and Marlon Brando. But of course, they adapted it for the 80s. And this was, man, I remember watching this for the first time and being like, these guys are funny. I mean, just their faces, before they even opened their mouths, their gestures were very, very funny. So let's take a look at the scene that I've chosen, Freddie Benson is telling a phony story. Phony is fake, falso, false. A phony story to sucker Janet into giving him money. And a sucker is uno que se cree todo. Eres un mamón, tío. You're a mamá. Man, you're a sucker. How could you believe that? ¿Cómo podías creer alguien que se cree todo? So if you're suckering somebody, engañándole para que te, no, timándole. So he's telling her a phony story to sucker Janet into giving him money. Engañarle para que le dé dinero. He says, I was engaged to a girl back in the States, comprometido con ella. And we loved to dance. Nos encantó bailar. We loved to dance. We wanted to be professionals. Isn't that silly? And we got an opportunity to compete on television, on Dance USA, which is a program back then. So we agreed that if we won, si ganáramos, we'd get married. So we went on and we danced and we won. Now remember, he's making up this story. And Janet says, oh, that's great. That's great. And Freddie says, and in the excitement, con toda la emoción, we got separated. Nos separamos. So I went back to the studio, volvé al estudio de televisión, and there they were. Y ahí estaban. Naked, dancing. And then they stopped. And they made love right there on the dance floor. Hicieron el amor ahí mismo en la pista de baile. They made love on the dance floor. And Janet gasps, to gasp. G-A-S-P, to gasp. And she says, who was she with? ¿Con quién estuvo? And Freddie says, Danny Terrio, the host of Dance USA. So he's saying that his fiance, obviously it's a made-up story, cheated on him with the host of the show. And remember, these days, that stuff doesn't fly. No cuela. With the advent of internet, oh, I used to be a famous soccer player when I was a kid. Okay, give me your name. Don't try telling bullshit stories these days, guys. You will get caught thanks to this little thing called internet. All right, before we move on to our final commercial break, it's time for homophones.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with homophones.
That's right, folks. It's homophones only on the show with no name. Oh my God, are you kidding me, Chris? Chris says in Spain it's un par de seductores. Pero lo que eliminan, que son asquerosos, son canallas, son lo peor de lo peor, Oh man, interesting. Un par de seductores. Dirty, rotten scoundrels. If you haven't seen that movie, you've got to check it out in English because we're talking about two of the most amazing actors ever, directed by one of the most talented people on the planet. All right, well, let's take a look at the two words over here. Now, we just said the word sucio. We said dirty, right? Something that's dirty. No, it's dirty, it's dirty. But I'm thinking now of some kind of comida que es basura. But I don't mean junk food. Let me clear this up one second here. Junk food is stuff that's sugary, salty, and not good for you. And this food that I'm talking about is unappetizing. Like the kind of food they would give you in a cafeteria, en una cantina, or in jail. Piensa en la comida en prisión. I've never been, but I imagine it's not very appetizing. In Spanish, you say bazofia o porquería. Okay, the word in English is the one you're going to give me. Casi lo digo, eh? But it's used to describe unappetizing food that looks nasty. Nasty is another way of saying disgusting. Tienes tres formas. Nasty, gross, disgusting. Significan lo mismo. All right, so that's the first word. And the second word is dar un guantazo. What Will Smith did to Chris Rock, not this year, but at the previous Academy Awards. So there you go, folks. Those are your homophones. I want to know what those words are and if they sound exactly the same or not. We'll be right back with the fourth and final part of today's show. So stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to the show with no name, exclusively on Vaughn Radio. Yeah. Vaughn Radio in the house. You got Ximena Holiday up next in her program, Test Your English. Yeah. Don't miss it, folks. Don't miss it. All right, all right. Also, correct me if I'm wrong here. I could be wrong. But for some reason, I think I'm not going to go look through all the comments because there are a lot of comments. But I think Kubla, I think you got our Say What soundbite. Well, just in case. Yeah, it's really tough. I think so. I can't recall right now. All right, but guys, you get one more chance. One more chance. You're going to hear it in just a moment. And don't forget, you've got amazing programs all day long here on Vaughn Radio. Download our free app. Also, follow us on social media. You can also go by our website, grupovaughn.com, or stop by in person. And if what you're looking for is materials, that's vaughntienda.com. Unless you can wait. If you can wait till the book fair, you know there's always a little discount at the book fair. You can pick up your books signed and stamped. All right. Yeah, Kubla, thanks. He copied and pasted it because I thought I remembered, but the good thing, there are a lot of comments. The bad thing, there are a lot of comments. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, como decimos, arma de doble filo. Like, I love that there's so much participation, but sometimes I get lost. Well, I'm human, and as you guys know, I'm teaching, presenting, and doing the technical stuff, and some would say it's nothing short of a miracle. All right, well, we've got so much to do. Let's listen to our Say What soundbite and see if anybody else can figure it out.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance.
All right. Kubla, I see one word that's off, but I think it's close enough, though. We're going to give it to you. You put mostly, and he says not least. So, but hey, as I said, this is not easy. All right. But where you put mostly, he says not least. Woo-hoo! But the rest looks about right. So great job. All right. Well, let's take a look at our homophones or not. The first person to participate, Kubla, says it's and he says they don't sound alike. Well, first, we're off to a good start because those are the two words. Let's see, Laura. Laura says the two words are and. She agrees, and she says they're not homophones. So she agrees on the words, and she agrees on whether they sound the same or not. Chris, she also agrees. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else want to take a stab at it? I wouldn't disagree with these people, but also, you know me. I'm the kind of guy who, I like to go against the grain, right? So you can go against the grain or you can go with the flow. Those are opposites, right? To go against the grain or go with the flow. Remember, I teach a lot of these on social media. In fact, you're going to definitely hear those on social media in a video in the future because I just wrote them down and I have a list. So I usually produce about, what I'll do is once a month, I'll produce about 30 videos. It takes its time, but first I have to have the idea, then I have to record it, then I have to edit it because obviously you don't want to see me pushing the button. And so if you love that, guys, as you know, it's all free, all the social media stuff. The best way to say thank you there is by spreading the word. And thank you to all of you who do that. For example, Laura, every time on Instagram, I say, ¿Quién lo puede usar en contexto? Who can use it in context? Guess who's there? Laura. She's there and she does it. And that's awesome. And my student, Isa, every time she's traveling around, she travels a lot for work. She works at a big pharmaceutical company. And she's learning English on the go and she always shares it. I share it in my stories. Like, here I am learning about Einstein while I catch the red eye. Mientras pillo el primer vuelo de la mañana o el último de la tarde, que es the red eye. So remember, if you guys like Fawn Radio, if you love the show with no name, if you love FYI, it takes a second, go to Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, wherever you are, comment, share it if it's possible. I know you can share stories, you can share posts on Instagram, you can share things on Facebook and on Twitter. I think that's the whole idea behind it. Remember this, sharing is caring. And if you're learning a lot and you love these free classes, we could, I'll never stop asking you to spread the word because that's, I think, one of the only ways. Obviously, Vaughn is a company. They have a marketing budget and all of that stuff, right? But I got to tell you something else. Some of the best marketing ever is word of mouth, right? Okay, so let's say both of these words. The first word is slop. What is this slop? I'm not going to eat this. And if something is sloppy, añadimos otra P, S-L-O-P-P-Y, sloppy, es chapucero, descuidado, okay? Desordenado. Your room is sloppy. It's like similar to messy. Okay, so slop. The second word is slap. Do they sound the same? Don't slap that slop in front of me. No lo pongas ahí delante de mí. Don't slap that slop in front of me or I'm going to slap you. Great job, folks. Oh, yeah. You guys nailed it over there. Kubla, Laura, and Chris Valrol. And it is not, no. They don't sound the same at all. Slop. Well, anytime we get a word like that, we isolate it. Slop. What is this slop? Slap. Don't slap me. Don't slap me. And also you can slap someone with a fine. Me dieron, como acabo de decir, en la mesa. Placa, toma. They slapped me with a 50 euro fine because I drove in the center of Madrid. Whatever. Bueno, es mucho más que 50 euros, by the way. So, excellent job to all of our amigos. You guys are kicking ass today. Well, you always kick ass, but just wanted to remind you, you are kicking ass and doing a wonderful job. Let's see how you do in today's Double Trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's double trouble, and don't worry, don't fret. Today it's just a double trouble. It's not a triple trouble. So hopefully everybody will be able to give it the old college try, as we say. Échale ahí, intenta, no pierdes nada. So here we go. You have to use the same word twice, as always. And it's got to be grammatically correct. So if you say, I look forward to eat with you, pues it's eating. So you want to make sure all that stuff is right too. So, ¿sabes si hay una junta o arandela encima de la lavadora? ¿Sabes si hay una junta o arandela o rondana? It says too. Ooh. So yeah, the junta is the one that seals, que sella. And the other one, arandela or rondana, is a metal one. But the idea is the same, right? It's a round thing that looks like a donut. And speaking of donuts, there's an FYI episode, a very sweet Molona episode of FYI on donuts. Ooh, I love donuts. I don't eat them often, but I love them. Who doesn't? It's just fat and sugar. Isn't that lovely? I don't mean for your health. I mean for your taste buds. Nunca me sé esa palabra. Tus papilativas, gustativas. I don't know. We say taste buds. All right, let's take a look over here, see if anybody can figure out the double trouble. First person to take a stab at it is Kubla. And he says, do you know if there's a washer on the washer? Is that correct? Yes, it is. Oh, yeah. Do you know if there's a washer on the washer? That's right. So a washer, if you know a little bit about tools, I know everybody knows hammer, martillo. We looked at screwdriver, destornillador, a drill. Zzz, you should know the basic stuff, right? I mean, if you ever need one, do you have pliers, alicate? Do you have a wrench, una llave inglesa? Basic stuff you need to know, I think. If you ever need one, you need to know how to ask for it. So do you know if there's a washer? Now, a washer, as I said, there are two different things that can be considered a washer, and it's all context, but they look the same. They look like donuts. One of them is a little rubber one that, when you're putting in the pipes in your sink, you put that there to make sure it adds like another level, and it seals it, really, is what it's supposed to do. And then you've got the other one, which you turn, right? Remember, tighty-righty, lefty-loosey. Derecha, tal, izquierda, right? So tighty-righty, lefty-loosey. Remember that. So a washer. And you know how I came up with this one the other day? I was doing a load of laundry. You say una colada. Okay. I was doing a load of laundry. And all of a sudden I'm looking around and we've got a washer and a dryer. You can say washing machine, but as we said here, washer is fine. And I looked and I was like, oh, I left out, I was fixing something with my tools, mis herramientas, and I looked and I said, oh, wow, there's a washer on the what? So this was based on a true story. De repente vi una tuerca de estas. Arandela, I didn't even know that. So there's a washer. Do you know if there's a washer on the washer? Let's see, Laura. Laura says, do you happen to know if there's a washer on the washer? Very nice, very formal. Excellent job to Kubla and Laura. Oh, yeah. All right. Kubla says, I can eat donuts in a row all day. My record is 10 in a single sitting. LOL. I don't know if you're saying that because it's you or you're quoting me. But I think I might have said something like that. But also, we're talking about when I was like a teenager and I was probably high, colocado. After school, sometimes we would smoke a joint and we would destroy whoever's house it was. We would clean them out of house and home. No, dejábamos las joyas, toda la comida. So that's the old, if you're referring to me, that's the old me. Oh, man. First, I can't take anything. I can't even have more than 2 or 3 beers now without getting dizzy. All right. Well, we've got so much to do, folks. Tons of stuff. So let's get moving with today's You're Joking. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. What did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking. That's right, amigos. You're joking only on the show with no name. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So we got the washer. These are called electrodomésticos. We call them appliances. Appliances. So you got your washer, your dryer, and then your dishwasher. So para diferenciar the washing machine or the washer and the dishwasher. All right. All right. You say lavavajillas for that one. And the other one is lavadora. Right. And as I said, una colada is a load of laundry. All right. Here we go with some of the greatest jokes you've ever heard in your life. I swear to God, they're going to be awesome. No, I'm just joking. They're not that good. Okay. Well, here we go. It's hard to explain puns to kleptomaniacs. Yeah. You didn't know that? Well, you know me, as a teacher, I have to explain these puns afterwards. Tengo que explicar estos juegos de palabras. And it's really hard to explain puns to kleptomaniacs. Yeah, because they always take things literally. They always take things literally. Comma, literally. No. They always take things literally. They always take things literally. O sea, la pausa es la clave ahí. They always take things literally. They always take things literally. All right. It's an easy one, but I like it. They always take things literally. Siempre se toman todo literal y siempre roban todo literalmente. So to take es robar. All right. I got another one. A photon was going through airport security. Photon? No, photon. Vaya photon. No, this is like neutrons, electrons. A photon, con PH en inglés, is going through airport security. No, el control de seguridad. And the TSA agent asked him, the TSA, Transit Security Authority, los pesados del aeropuerto que te registran. Sorry, it's true. Not everybody's a terrorist, guys. You don't have to treat us all like terrorists, okay? I think, in fact, small minority of people who are terrorists, and they're usually not traveling in the kids' lane, no, en el carril de niños. Who knows? It could be a good guise. Una buena forma de esconderlo. So the TSA agent asked if he had any luggage. He asked the photon if he had any luggage. And the photon said, no, I'm traveling light. Traveling light. No. Traveling light. Oh, I think it's hysterical, man. Do you get it? Okay, fotón. O sea, que yo no sabía que la palabra vaya fotón de un fotón. Toma double trouble in Spanish. So, vaya fotón de un fotón. Bueno, yo lo sabía como fotón, right? Wow, fotón, qué bonito. Y yo siempre digo lo mismo. I always say the same thing. I'm like, it's my iPhone. It's not me. All right, so it's a type of particle in physics. We say photon. Okay, so now do you get it? Photon is traveling light. Es luz que está viajando, moviéndose. But also, if you're traveling light, it means you don't have a lot of suitcases with you. It means you just have maybe a backpack. Okay? All right. And the last one. What did the DNA say to the other DNA? ¿Qué dijo el ADN al otro ADN? What did the DNA say to the other DNA? Do these genes make me look fat? Do these jeans make me look? No. Do these jeans, vaqueros, genes? Do these jeans make me look fat? Oh, and by the way, there's an FYI episode on jeans, no genes, vaqueros. Remember, jeans, vaqueros, yo sé que sabéis escribir esa. La otra es Gene, pero no se pronuncia gene, como en español se pronuncia jeans. You get it? What did the DNA say to the other DNA? Do these jeans make me look fat? All right, folks, it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Famous birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's famous birthdays only on the show with no name. And as always, this is one of the final sections. We've got this, then we've got to look at our Say What soundbite, and then name that lyric. And we are Audi 5000. Audi is out of here, pero es Audi, la marca. We're Audi 5000. Nos piramos vampiro. All right, the first person was born in 1933, an American singer, songwriter, trumpet player, and producer. Are you ready for this? He's been in the business for 70 years. He has a record 80 Grammy Award nominations, 28 Grammys, and a Grammy Legend Award that he got in 1992. He's worked with Frank Sinatra, Count Basie, also the hit from the 60s, It's My Party and I'll Cry If I Want to. But more importantly, he produced Michael Jackson's Off the Wall, Loco, Off the Wall, Thriller, Emocionante, and Bad. So that's pretty crazy. Oh, and We Are the World, We Are the Children, we are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving. Number 2, born in 1933, this English actor is a sir. He's very well known for his Cockney accent. He's got a Cockney kind of English accent. Cockney, no, not the Queen's English. Cockney, yo lo veo como el que se corta mucho. And this guy's been in everything. He was in The Italian Job, but the original one, not the one that came out in the 90s. And of course, he continued to be in movies all throughout the 70s, 80s, 90s. He was even in the Dark Knight trilogy. He was awesome. He was in Kingsman and, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Today's named that movie. And last but not least, this guy told us that E equals MC squared, right? The speed of light. Velocidad de la luz, the speed of light. There's an FYI episode on this genius, and we share a first name. Yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, our winner, give it up for Chris Valrol. Number 1, Quincy Jones. Number 2, Sir Michael Caine. And number 3, the one and only Albert Einstein. And this is Albert Einstein in our Say What soundbite. And he's saying, we are concerned, he says, doesn't say we, he says we. We are concerned here with an act of humanity, un acto de humanidad, with the manteniendo, of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable, which he pronounces a little bit differently, of considerable political importance. This is the one and only Albert Einstein.
We are concerned here with an act of humanity, with the maintaining of cultural values, and not least with a measure of considerable political importance.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, and it's time for Name That Lyric.
Hi, hello, Alberto. No? Sorry, bye.
Name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric, name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. Name that lyric only on the show with no name. The show with no name, the show with no name. It's name that lyric only on the show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Lyric only on the show with no name. And thank you, folks. You did a wonderful job. Thank you to all of you who are here with us live. And thank you to all of you who tune in afterwards. Thank you guys, too, for playing along and bringing the magic. Even if it's not live, we feel your presence. We know you're here. And thank you to all of our show with no namers, whether you're the fortunate ones who are able to be here every day with me or the ones who tune in later. You're still here with me. When I'm talking to all of you. So I won't forget you, babe. I won't forget you. But don't worry, that's not today's Name That Lyric. We're not going to do Poison, even though we were in the 80s today. No, today's is We Are the World. We're going to stay in the 80s. And this was produced by Birthday Boy. I forget his name now. Quincy Jones. How can I forget Quincy Jones and his song with many, many artists? We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We'll save it. Oh my God. Sorry if it rains. Let's listen to the original. I think it's better. Ciao, guys. Thank you.